Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of the Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live here in the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM from New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing folks over at Folgers Coffee who have been on this journey with us from the very beginning and make all of this possible each and every week. So thank you, Folgers. Big thank you to Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, aka Justin Snicker, who is an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, dark wave electronic music, which can be found anywhere that good music is available. And he is responsible for the amazing intro and outro for the Outer Realm. So big thank you to Justin. Just like I shouldn't know that by now, especially after I just said it. But hey, been one of those days. Whole other story. Tonight we welcome Lisa Savoy to the show for the very first time, and she's going to be discussing her life as an experiencer with not one, but at least 3 different ET races. So sounds like exciting. So we get so many people that come on and talk about this sort of thing, and it's always intriguing to me because as similar as they can be, they're all so very different. In order to get into the chat room with your questions and comments, you're going to have to get onto one of our 8 platforms, which is Facebook News on the flip side, Outer Realm, of course, with Amelia and I, UFO, Paranormal Radio, United Public Radio, Canada's Most Haunted, moi, and of course, Joe Montaldo, UFO Undercover. Then we're going to get into YouTube at UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials, UFO Paranormal Radio, and myself at the Outer Realm. I see the chat room is starting to fill up. Hi, Janie, Wayne, Zachman. How's it going, guys? So let me just get the bio. See, because right now, you'll notice Amelia is not here tonight. She is still fighting. I don't know if we're day 16 or 17 of this virus, but good grief, man. The poor girl is still at it. So hopefully she'll get into chat again as she was last night. So if she's up to it, she'll get in and post some questions from there, or she may very well, just tag along and have a little bit of fun. Hey, Wayne Murphy, have a great show. Hope Amelia feels better. Hold on here. Sent a recipe for white pine tea from Team Templar North America, her other big project. So thank you. You guys are going to have to hang tight and watch and see what's coming with that, including a little bit of a surprise. So hang tight. Now, as for Lisa is a lifetime experience since the age of 3 and 3.5, to current time. She has encountered the Greys during childhood and called them the little people. She has also had contact with reptilians. Curious about that one. Kind of on the fence with that. Some people like them, some people don't like them. I'm always intrigued with that. The Men in Black, well, okay, also an interesting point of reference. And a Nordic named Angie. As she grew older, her experiences became more intense and traumatic, but managed to make it through. She now lives in Windsor, Ontario with her 2 boys and her beloved husband. She is grateful for the steadfast support of her husband and family. Absolutely. That is definitely out of the norm, I would say. So without further ado, let's bring on Lisa. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, good. How about you?
Well, can't complain. I'm a little tongue-tied tonight, but otherwise, I think I'm all right. I don't have my little bubbly companion with me, just sort of like reels me in every now and then. So,
Get there soon.
Yeah.
We're getting that correct.
So how's life in Windsor?
Oh, good. It feels like spring here. I've been working on my garden. It's coming up beautifully, and
Yeah.
yeah, and extend my garden this year. So
Right. Well, that's interesting for sure. It is a time of year where I think we can just take a breath literally and just say, "Oh my gosh, okay." Spend some time outside after that it's been a long, hard winter, and the weather
yes,
has been erratic. I mean, we had snow here like 3 days ago.
of
It's
course.
like, come on. Like, are we not like slowly coming up onto May? Can we
I
just
know. Like here, we had a couple days. It's like 25, 30. Now it's cold again. It's like, man, when's these cold snaps going to be over with? It's
wow.
we're
I
almost day. It should be soon, hopefully.
I think it's just Mother Nature doesn't know what she wants to do. She's just sort of having some issues. Hey, Jeannie, so it's like, come on. But I'm glad you're here. You've waited a while to get here. It's just like,
Yes.
you've been awesome joining us in chat where you've been able to. So we thank you for that. It's always nice. Um, why don't we just I always like to start off with humble beginnings, basically, which is how this all started for you and take us in as to where we are now.
Yeah, like I remember like at the time, we used to live in Cambridge, Ontario.
Right.
We used to live in a row house
Right.
and two-story row house. And there was like a small man-made hill in our backyard, had train
Hmm.
tracks on it. And behind that was this huge field.
Right.
And in our backyard we had like a barbed wire fence so you couldn't cross up in there.
Right.
So what I did one day, I decided to go out. I just had the strongest urge to go into the field, like really
And,
strong.
and how old
I
were you
couldn't
at this
ignore it.
point?
3.5.
Wow.
I was only young, but I just had this, no sense of fighting this drive you crazy. And
Yeah.
so I stepped out the front door. I knew I
Hmm.
was supposed to go to this field. I kind of snuck out. I took a turn to the right. I walked down the street a little ways till I got to a part there, like there's a small road, like there's a small opening underneath the hill there for you to
Hmm.
go through. So I went underneath there. I took a turn to the right. I went in a little ways. Then I noticed something. It looked like the sun,
Oh,
but it wasn't. It was moving to
wow.
the right. And it'll be white, orange, red. It was changing colors.
Right.
And then it stopped. And I thought, what is that? And the sun doesn't move. Very curious child. And
But the fact that you even computed that in your mind, that the sun doesn't move and you're 3.5, and
yeah,
you're realizing something is different here. That's just not normal.
no, it was fascinating. It looked beautiful. And one time it stopped. I just sat there and hovered for a bit. Then it started getting closer. It was getting bigger.
Oh.
And to the point it had a black ring around it. And it had like lights going around it, like orange, yellow, white lights going around it. And I thought, what is that? I wasn't afraid of it.
Right.
And it got closer, it got a lot bigger, and no longer had lights on. It's like a shiny bronze metal
Hmm.
of a reflective surface.
Right.
And that's all I remember at that point in time.
Hmm.
So I thought, well, I should go home. So I headed home. And as I was going home, I met some kids I knew. And they're saying to me, Lisa, where have you been? You've been missing for hours. And I
Wow.
thought, what do they mean by that? Your parents been looking for you everywhere.
I know. I was going to say 3.5. If one of my kids are out of my sight for more than
Yeah,
5 minutes and they're not in the house, I'd be frantic. That must have been crazy for them.
yeah. And I thought, what do they mean by that? And they're saying, you're in so much trouble. And I thought, okay, what's going on here? So I got home,
Mm-hmm.
go in the house, and both my parents were frantic.
Oh, yeah.
Where have you been? We've been looking for you for hours. We didn't see you anywhere. And I thought, uh-oh,
Right.
I wasn't gone that long.
We have a problem.
Yeah, they're angry with me. I was hungry. I'm not sure when last time I ate. I was starving. They were so polite with me. They just put me in my room without having supper. It's like, just sent me to my room.
Right.
And I was confused. I didn't know what was going on.
Wow. Wow. So did this become a regular occurrence?
Yes,
Like,
I've seen it more than once.
okay. So
Well,
who, like, obviously you have missing time. So you were taken aboard, and who were you dealing with at that point? Because I know you've had experiences with multiple ETs, 2 or 3. Who were the ones, I guess, to start this all? Who were the first
okay.
bunch that you dealt with?
All right, like I remember one night I went to bed and something woke me up.
Mm.
And I noticed the room felt cooler.
Mm-hmm.
It felt colder, and the room was getting darker.
Mm.
Sat up.
Yeah.
I noticed the wall, the whole back wall, across
Mm.
me was turning pitch black. I mean, black.
Right.
It looked like there's nothing even there.
Right.
And next thing I knew, I see these 8 little tiny, small beings, 3.5 feet high,
Mm-hmm.
and they come in where the wall should have been.
Right.
Their appearance didn't frighten me at all. It didn't bother me at all.
And now, how old were you during that encounter?
I remember at 3.5.
Okay, so you were still 3.5 when they came into the room. Okay, because I'm just trying to get into your mindset for your age. So they would have been about your size, pretty much, too.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And I remember like they had no hair, no ears. They had like large black eyes.
Right.
And they had like this hole for a nose and a slit for a mouth. And they were light gray from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to one. He looked at me, no response. I told
Right.
him my name, still no response. And I thought, offer my hand as a handshake, as friendship.
Right.
He just looks at me, down at my hand. Okay, still nothing. And next thing I know, he looks at me from head to toe. And all of a sudden I feel uncomfortable. I go, something doesn't feel right here. The atmosphere is changing. And
Mm.
next thing I know, half of them step to the left side.
Mm.
Their half steps over to the right side.
Right.
They're in the middle of them. All of a sudden I can feel like I'm standing there. All of a sudden I just feel this energy wrapping around me and going through me at the same time.
Right.
I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. I couldn't even move my eyes. And I felt myself being lifted off the floor
Mm-hmm.
and
Wow.
pulled towards the wall where it was all black.
Mm-hmm.
And I was terrified. I couldn't scream. I tried to call for my mother. I couldn't do it. So I did. I just screamed in my mind as
Right.
loud as I could, like, Mommy. And
It's like a sleep paralysis thing almost, isn't it? Where
I
you're
was wide awake though.
Yeah. Well, sleep paralysis is you're wide awake, but you have no control over your limbs. Like you can't move, you can't speak, but your eyes are moving, you're aware. And it's quite common with ET contact.
Hmm.
It sounds to me like that's what you were experiencing a little bit.
Yeah. I couldn't even move my eyes though. Even my eyes couldn't move. And
Oh, wow.
I
Right.
was terrified. And I remember I was fighting it's so hard trying to move, and my whole body just ached
Right.
from
Yeah.
trying to do that. And I passed out. That's what I
Wow.
remember from there at that time.
Wow. That had to been traumatic.
It was.
How did you feel when you came out of that? Like, did you have a recollection of it right away? Did you know something had happened?
I didn't really remember right away till later.
Right.
Like, I remember that's my first time seeing him. The second time I seen him, the same thing happened. And then when I seen him a third time, I was nervous of them. I knew something was right with them.
Mm-hmm.
And the third time, I didn't try to fight when I couldn't move, and I didn't have the pain if I didn't
Right.
fight it. But it wasn't too later. I was having these nightmares, recurring nightmares,
Mm.
and I was remembering what they were doing to me. I was aware that they were hurting me. Take me somewheres, I didn't know where I was at. Like at that time, I never heard that stuff.
Right.
I didn't like. I call them little people.
Yeah.
I have an idea at all who I was looking at. But
Right.
I had these horrible nightmares. And if I told people what happened, so I have a sister too, and she just never woke up. I remember her being there with
Mm-hmm.
me. So at the
Right.
time, I believe I was the only one
Right.
being taken.
It's interesting because a lot of children have different experiences with different races, and the grays tend to be they tend to get more into the physical things apparently later on, um, in like maybe adolescent stage. Um, do you feel, when you say they were hurting you, is it something along the lines maybe because you were already afraid, or it was just uncomfortable, or were they genuinely really hurting you?
At times, it was painful.
Right,
Yes,
right.
it was.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
right,
it was like a rough exam starting for a child. That's the best way to put it.
right, right.
Yeah.
Um, you say you had a sister. Does she have any recollection of that? Because usually with extraterrestrials, like with abductions or contact, it will usually happen to, like, if it's happened to you, chances are
Yeah.
like family, it's family lines that they'll usually follow. Like you'll have other members of your family, parents, grandparents, great grandparents. Have you heard of anybody else in your family having these experiences?
Oh, I just found out recently my mom's an experiencer.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Yeah, right
And
there.
her mom used to tell me stories how she used to see a disc once she's seen a disc-shaped object a couple times. My
Right.
grandmother? Yeah.
Right. So you see, they've been present in your family line, which makes a lot of sense. So your experience has continued on past the age of 3.5. Was it primarily with the Greys up to a certain age?
Um, yeah, I think there was a bit of while. Like, I was a little older when I seen the Reptilians and the Men in Black.
Right.
That's probably like 4.5. I remember.
You were seeing Men in Black by the time you were 4.5?
Yes.
Shapers. Okay. So let's talk about the reptilian experience and then let's lead into that. So obviously you're 4.5 when you had reptilian experiences. What was that like? What do how did you end up connecting, or what, did they just pop in one day and say, hey? Was that terrifying? Was it comforting? There's a lot of mixed feelings when it comes to the reptilians.
Yeah. Not all of them are bad. Like the first time I met the Reptilians, I was taken, I believe, it was underground somewheres.
Right.
And a man had me. He's on the right hand side of me. He was dressed, in the black suit, the jacket, tie, and pants. And I remember he had me. And it was, remember, this area was like a long hall. There's some doors on each side. And there was very little lighting in there. And it was a little dark, and the walls were black.
Mm.
And
Oh.
yeah. And he took me down a little ways.
Right.
And we took a turn to the left. And then the door open. And there's another man there too, dressed the same way. And I thought, where am I? Where's my mother? Who are these people? You know, why am I with these people? And they weren't doctors. I don't know who they were. And the room again is black. And I remember they had some lighting in there, not a whole lot. Like there's lights on the side wall. And he took me in. There's another man. They didn't really say much. They're kind of quiet. And
like the doctors, they were reptilian, or were they humanoid? Reptilian.
Men in black, they were human.
Oh, men in black were human. Okay, that's interesting too, because some people say they don't know if they're another race of ET or are they human. So I like that.
Yeah, like I heard too, like even Leslie told me like some are pure humans and there's other ones that don't appear. So there's two.
Right. Okay. So you had the human version, thankfully.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not thankfully, I guess.
Yeah, they seem to be very human. Like my mom believes they're hybrids. So
Right.
she could be right.
Yeah.
That look human. But
and the doctors were reptilian.
No.
Oh, they were human as well.
Nope, they were lizards. I'm getting there.
Okay, all right. No, so I'm just trying to keep up. Okay, take it away.
Yeah, but
okay.
And where's that? Okay, just took me in the room.
Yeah.
To the left there was a table there, like an examination table. So one that brought me in, took me in. The other one there puts me sits me on a table. And there's like a fold-out table, like a white table just across from me. That. And the other one, he had like a briefcase. He puts that on the table. He opens it and he takes something like a chart out, like 2 or 3 pages. He's gone through it. And at that time, I remember when I first got, I had sunglasses on, but he eventually took them off. And he went through that. So he goes at the end of the table after he goes to the chart there. And I remember they both take their jacket and their tie off. And it was really warm in there. I caught. And they put it back at the chair, at the table there. So one goes at the end of my feet. The other one goes down by my head. And each one takes my clothes off. And I'm lying there terrified.
I can imagine. You're 4.5.
Yes. I go, what is going on here? Where is my mother? Why is she not here? And I hear something on my left side. I turn my head to the left. And the wall there seemed more blacker than the other ones. I mean, pitch black. It's like when the little people came in my bedroom. But they sound like they had a deep, guttural sounding to them. And yeah, that's not little people. What is that? And I can see figures coming towards me. There's like 5. Okay, they're a lot bigger. They're wearing the hooded black robe. They're wearing that. And when they got closer to me, I looked at one, and it's like looking into the face of a T-Rex. That's the best way of putting it.
Wow.
And they're huge. I mean, huge. I mean, like they're not like 7 to 8 feet high. And when you're a child, they look even more taller.
That's colossal to a little person. Yeah.
They're huge. And they had a certain odor. Like, I can't really explain what it's like. And people have different ways to explain, like burnt sweat or whatever. And
Is it like sulfuric? Is it
no,
just
it's not sulfur. Someone said burnt sweat, and I go, yeah, that's the best way for me to say like something like burnt sweat.
burnt sweat? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
and they're just huge. And I remember they have like medium brown skin,
Right.
and they had like a black line, like a streak going like their eyes, like from their nose right across their head. And then
Mm-hmm.
that
Right.
they had yellow eyes, black slits in them,
Yeah.
and oh, they were just huge. And I thought, okay, why am I seeing lizard people? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple went to my left side, and the other three went around to my right side. And as I'm lying there, I can feel something like a burning, scratching on each side of my lower stomach. I remember that.
Right.
And I was horrified. And I remember one of them, the Reptilians, went in the back of my head there, and he put his hand, it was huge, over my face. I could smell a different smell. Next thing I know, I was knocked out. I had that happen to me 5 times. That I'm aware of.
Wow. Wow. Do you feel that perhaps you could have been on in a military or government sort of facility, or do you feel this was like
Um,
I'm a bit it's just a bit interesting when you put the men in black in there because that's usually more military.
yes.
Yeah.
Like as a child, I wasn't aware of that, but as an
No,
adult,
but yeah, now, yeah, your thoughts. Yeah. So this happened a few times. Did this continue on through your life as well, or did they stop at a certain age?
there's certain parts. I don't really remember reptilians a whole lot, but there's certain parts of my life I remember seeing them.
Right.
Um, it might be I have seen them a few times in my life, and even today.
Wow. Wow. So,
Not friendly.
not friendly.
No.
No. Yeah, yeah, I was always of the same mind when it came to reptilians. Um, and yet, even our guest last night, she goes, no, like people have like her encounters with people who she has researched. Everyone, and again, our producer says the same. Dealing with contactees and such. Like reptilians are just so awesome. I'm just like, and like don't judge a book by its cover sort of thing. So I'm like, okay, I want to be open minded about this. But I'm thinking, many people I've talked to don't feel the same way, and you are just living proof of that as well.
Yeah. See, in my experience, some are bad, some are, I wouldn't say they're bad or good either. They're neutral. Like they're
Right.
around, but they haven't really did anything to hurt me.
Right.
Um,
So
that
what
I remember.
yeah, what kind of experience then, let's say, what's an okay experience with them compared to what you had been going through? Like they're just talking to you? Are they obviously they're not examining you at this point because you're like, okay, it wasn't a bad experience. I mean, I'm here, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
No.
What's a mediocre sort of experience with these beings?
Um, I ask myself that question all the time, like why?
Yeah,
I really don't know. I just don't know what to say. I'm
right.
aware they seem to pick certain people.
Yeah,
I don't know because I have the mental endurance, the strength to
right.
go through it. That may have something to do with it. I just don't know. It's
Yeah,
just something
let's talk about the
I've
endurance thing.
learned. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Like, do you feel like the whole testing thing, like, do you feel you were tested? Do you feel that you were just pushed to your limits?
I found I was
Because I mean, you're
pushed
4 and a
my-
half. That's an issue with me.
Yeah, like people say to me, how do you survive through that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I understand, like, I really had no choice.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
the hardest part too, not just going through, but when you're a kid, who believes a kid?
Right.
Gonna hear, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, of course.
That puts in the stress as well.
Hmm.
And at one time I was suffering from it, but thankfully I pulled through it.
Right.
And talk about testing and that, I remember there's a chapter of a book I call The Maze Game.
Right.
And talk about being tested for mental endurance and intelligence. There's a test that they had us do. It's done by the Greys. And I remember there was me, there's another girl there, and 2 boys.
Right.
And I remember they took us to this white room. There's a table there. We had something like a tablet, let's way to describe it, and there'd be symbols on it, and we had to remember those. We had to learn those, and we would help one another. And
Mm.
sometimes you have a competition who can learn, the most. We would do that just to, for the heck of it, get less tension off.
Hmm.
So we've done that for a while. And once
Right.
we learned them, okay, so all right, now I guess we're going to do this test. We didn't know what it was till we seen it.
Hmm.
And I remember they took us out, took us down this long white hall, like bright white. And you got down the end there. This door slides over to the left.
Hmm.
Before I got there, I thought, oh, do I want to go in there? Because it was dark in there. It was like a
Yeah.
medium gray, and it's very lighty again on the wall.
Mhm. Yeah.
And we stepped in, went to the right, and we looked down and across from us. And there's a couple of grays, one on each side there. They're pulling open. They had the door like sliding open, one piece to the right and one piece to the left.
Right.
And we can see these small entrances, like 3 on the top, 3 in the middle, and 3 on the bottom. We're like,
Mhm.
what is that for?
Right.
And I remember they had a step ladder. So if you want to enter into the ones on the middle or on top, you had to use that. And you
Mm.
can tell from the outside, they're lit up inside, like a light bluish white light coming from inside them.
Right.
And when I first started, I went on the bottom and I went into the left entrance
Yeah.
on the side there. And we all went in, we had all our areas we had to go into, and you're on your hands and knees, you had to crawl through it.
Hmm.
And after you go in, after you all get in there,
Hmm.
you'll close the door behind you, the doors. And it was the worst feeling, 'cause you knew you couldn't come out of there till you did the whole thing. They would tell us, if you don't do this, if you refuse to do it, you can't go home.
Wow.
I believe
That's
they just done that to put fear in us. So like, I don't want to do this. I think
Mhm.
that's why it worked.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
I remember like the lights, like they're long lights going along the bottom of the floor around in the maze there.
Hmm.
And you look at them, they had the symbols
Hmm.
on these lights. They're in black. And okay, I remember these. I recognize these.
Hmm.
And as she came to a turn, the turns there, like they were curved.
Right.
And on the sides of the entranceway there, they had those lights on there as well.
Hmm.
Had symbols in the middle of that. And we used those to figure, okay, which turn we're supposed to go, which where we're supposed to go.
Right.
And there's different levels. It's like a ramp. Let's go down to different levels if you want to go down or up. I remember that. And
Hmm.
it was a little intense. If we ran to someone else, we weren't allowed to say anything or help one another. We just had to keep going away. You couldn't follow them or anything. And
Mm,
one time, I got to like a wall there, like an ending of it. Instead of having lights on the bottom of the back wall there, they have like small openings, like different shape openings. And you can feel the air from outside blowing in. And I thought, oh, I'm at the ending of it. I'm at the finish.
right.
So I hurried down there as I looked out the holes on there. Oh my word. I was up here and the trees and the field are underneath us.
Right.
So I had to hurry down, get to the bottom level so I can get out. Because I remember there's a time limit. And so I had to go down like that way. So I'm not sure how many levels I had to go down, but eventually got down to the bottom level.
Right.
Again, I got to the wall there again, and I could see that was on ground level. But I remember I had to find the right part that you can push open.
Right.
And then you would slide out feet first. After you've done that, there's a certain part of the field that there's trees in there. After we got out, we all had to run and meet each other at the same group of trees.
God, it sounds like something out of a movie. You see these movies where, and I don't want to name the names obviously on the
Yeah,
show, but there are movies where it is endurance, but you're being tested almost like, okay, if you have to make this great escape, who does it better, it and again, if I named off the names, people will be like, yeah, but I know you guys are all thinking the same movies as I am, but like it's like a Hunger Games sort of thing,
oh,
like,
watch that.
right? Like it's just
Yeah, I
like,
know what you're talking about. I never watched that.
yeah, right. It's just sort of like, gosh, but
No,
it almost seems like, I don't know, like, I could see military or government doing something like that.
yeah,
It-
I
it-
thought the same thing.
Yeah, I can't see, ETs doing something like that. But not that they don't. I mean, there's all
Yeah,
kinds of different species out there. It's hard to say. It's not like they're going to come right out and say, "Hey,
yeah.
yeah, we're the good guys, we're the bad guys." So the ones who push you through this endurance testing, were these the Greys or were these the Reptilians?
They were the Greys.
Oh wow, really?
Yes,
Oh
they were the
gosh,
Greys.
okay. So you got bounced around between
Yeah.
these two a little bit. Do you at any point feel like maybe they were connected or working together, or do you think that it was very, very separate?
I
Like
remember
knowing what you know now.
um, later on in my life, I do remember seeing Men in Black with the Greys. My childhood, no, but later on in life, I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you do think that, yeah. 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 Trish basically says real life Squid Games. Yeah. Trish is also a contactee, abductee experiencer as well. So she, if anybody gets how it works, you'll be in good company with her. So
Yeah.
she's another host on the show called The Missing Piece. So for anybody who's interested in catching her Monday nights at 9 p.m., there you go. Plug. So how long does this go on for?
The ice game went on for a while. I'm not really sure how long. One of the boys that I made friends with. So he helped me through a lot with this stuff.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So let's fast forward then. The whole Men in Black thing, were they a regular occurrence in your life as well growing up? Or did they sort of
Um,
ease off after a while?
I remember them once in a while. I never really told much people about them till later, but I remember they would pop up once in a while.
Right.
Like I remember like for a while, my first scene on like the Greys and the Maze game, I was living in Cambridge. And then but not too long I had that experience with the Men in Black, the Reptilians. That's when I meet Angie.
Okay,
She's
so
a good one.
let's
I like
talk
her.
about
She's my
her.
yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about her. She sounds a little more delightful than the other two.
Yes. Oh, well, that's a yes. There's a big difference with Angie, but I remember one night I woke up. I was like, "What woke me up?" I can hear someone knocking on my window. I looked, and there. Okay, how come there's a woman in my window? We're
Now,
2 stories high.
now, how old are you at this point? Just so we have a timeline.
I say it's during the summer, 4.5. I turned like 5
Oh,
when I
so still at this age. Okay, okay.
was young when I first met her.
That was a busy year for you.
Yes, I know. Well, mine's just all the way through. It's just
Yeah,
all the way through.
wow.
And I thought, how's a woman out there knocking on the window? We're 2 stories high. How's this possible?
Ah,
And next thing I know, the wall doesn't turn black or anything. She just walks through like there's nothing there. She just walks straight through. She starts
okay.
talking. She says, "Hello, Lisa," and starts talking to me, and they're going, "Who
And
are
now,
you and how do you know my name?"
right now, what species was she? I hate to say species. Which race was she?
Um, some people call them Palladians. Some people
Okay,
call them Nordics. Some
okay,
cases, like I call Angie a Nordic, but I have
right,
people call her tall white because Nordics usually have the yellow blonde hair,
right.
but I call mine Nordic.
Okay, okay.
Anyway,
So she's pretty humanoid,
yeah, she
basically.
has white
Okay,
hair. White hair and fair skin, like white as snow. She's very fair,
right,
and I had a different presence with her.
right,
I can tell she's not like the Grays or the others. She was not more nicer person. The thing that got me, not only she knew my name, she knew everything about me. I mean, everything. My encounters with the Grays, Men in Black, the Reptilians, my mom, dad, my sister. She knew everything. And I thought, how does she know this?
right,
And she's like the Greys. I didn't say it earlier, but they spoke to me telepathically.
right. Yes,
And she was very pretty. Like she had her eyes were she looked human, but her eyes are a little bit bigger, like longer, wider than ours. Not like the Greys, but they're a little bigger. And
right.
they're pretty, like blue the green in them.
Oh, wow, very nice.
She
So
had a
you felt comfortable when you saw her. You didn't feel threatened like with
oh
the others.
no.
Okay.
And
And why, like, did she tell you, what brought her to you or,
I remember she told me one night she was passing over my home. She can hear someone crying.
oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, I remember she told me that. So that's how she found out.
Wow. So she found you. Wow. That's so unusual. Do you think, um, because telepathically, you're communicating with her telepathically. So she's hearing this, but I mean, unless they're literally right, is it well, I guess what I'm wondering is if it's a dimensional thing, if she's just coming into your space and she hears this,
Yeah.
or are you known in the ET world as this is happening to you? Is this,
Yeah,
it's
it
kind
could
of
be that
curiosity.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
She's
so
She came in, she sat in my bed beside me, and I sit up beside her, and we were talking. And then she goes, Lisa, she says, I want to show you something. I thought, okay. So she gets up, I follow her. She goes out the same way she came in.
no, that's awkward for
And
you. Yeah.
as I stepped through it, I felt it was passing through water, like liquid.
Oh,
It felt like it
interesting.
turned dark for a second
Yeah.
to pass through. Before I stepped down, I thought, whoa, what's going on here? I saw her float down in my front yard, no problem. But
Mm.
I grew afraid. She goes, Lisa, she says, it's okay. You're not going to fall. Trust me. She says, you can come down, no problem.
Wow. Wow.
So
So
I finally done that.
Yeah.
And of course, my sister's sound asleep in bed.
Right.
And so I floated down, and I remember she was looking to the right. And I thought, what's she looking at? I don't see anything. So
Yeah.
I started to go that way. She takes a hold of me. She goes, move slowly. She says, don't go too fast. She took a hold of me, and I thought, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So we went a little closer, and I go, I could see, this was describe like I seen something like a blurry figure, like something blurry there, reflecting everything's funny, like a blurry look to it.
Yeah.
I thought, what is that? So she told me to bring up my hand, my palm sticking up. And she says, move slow. She says, not too fast. And I kept on getting closer to it. And I thought, what the heck? And
Right.
I got closer to it. All of a sudden, I can see this triangle shaped thing right in front of me. And I thought, okay, this is our spaceship. How's it fly? How's a triangle fly? You're thinking that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And
You're just a little kid. That's a curiosity.
I can,
Absolutely.
it's like a mirror. You can see yourself in it. And
Wow.
I noticed, I looked down, I go, where's the landing gear? It has no landing gear. I thought,
Hmm.
how's this possible? Why is it just sitting in there? So I ducked, I went underneath it. I remember pushing up on it, just felt so heavy. It's not going to move. And remember there's a piece underneath it. It was shaped this way. It's like a small piece in the middle. It's shaped like a teardrop. That's why I'm just
Right.
grabbing it. And the same metal. It was really smooth. Like you didn't see any screws or anything attached to it. It's just like one piece of metal molded
Hmm.
together. And so I came up underneath it. I went in front of it. And I remember that it's like a triangle shape. It's not really, it's more like a wedge triangle shape. It's not like a pie. And I went in front of it, and I remember it's so pointed up front.
Right.
It made
Right.
sure I didn't, bump into it. And I looked on top. There's a smaller triangle piece on top. And I thought, where's the windows? I see the windows. I thought, whoa, so it's like a mirror type of thing.
Right.
So she took it home, and she's come over here. And next I know, we both floated on top of this triangle piece on top of it.
Hmm.
And I thought, okay, there's no door. Where's the door?
Right.
And
Yeah.
which I know, when you drop a rock in the water, how you see the circles.
Yeah. The ripple effect.
This way to describe how it opened.
Wow.
And when it opened up, it was so bright white in there.
Right.
Yes. And
Right.
so I went in first. I kind of scooted over to the middle. I'm not supposed to scoot over to the right side.
Right.
So go to the right in his seat there. So I did.
Yeah.
And she went over to the left side. And I remember it was all white. And as I sat there, I was looking forward. I go, whoa, I can see outside. I never seen the house right in front of us where I was living. I can see outside. And I thought, okay, how come you see it on your inside, but outside you
Yeah. Your mind's just going, what is all this
Very
craziness?
curiosity. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I remember there's this, she didn't have anything like a wheel or a joystick like you see in the airplane. You don't see all that. That wasn't
Right.
there. And I thought, whoa, what is this thing? And
Right. Because it's all touching, like it's all thought operated with thought. Yeah. Yeah.
both of it. And there's a small, on my right hand side, there's a small gray piece, what you put your arm on. I didn't know what that was at first till later. But she took
Right.
me in there, and I was so excited. I was just talking about everything. And I didn't know right away. Like when you first start moving, you don't feel anything. You hear no engines. You don't even feel movements.
Right.
It wasn't until I looked out the window, you look down dark, you see lights, right? When you're in an airplane, you see everything moving underneath you. But it's like everything's just like one big blur. And I thought, holy jeez. And then it'd be nighttime and you go further and it'll be daytime, it's the time, and everything is just a blur.
Right.
And I thought, holy jeez, how fast are we going? We're moving
But it
fast.
must have just been a really like an overwhelming feeling, but also a big sense of relief that you're actually having a really good experience. Like you're seeing something different, they're being very kind. It's not what you've been accustomed to. Somewhere in there, you must have thought, what's the catch? I'd be just like, okay,
Yeah.
I know how this usually ends.
Yeah.
So, like that must have been really like, again, that breathing, that sigh of relief. And, you realize, no, there really are some having good experiences also.
Oh yeah. And I'll never forget the time after we went around the world a few times, when she took me up. I mean, it's just a matter of seconds. You'd be in my yard and you'd be way above the planet looking down at it.
I need an Uber like that.
Yeah. Oh,
I
it's
could be traveling like
so
this.
fast. It's so quick. I'm like, wow.
Yes.
And she would take me around the earth, like around it, and she'll take me over and under it. And as you fly around the planet, you would see different time zones. Like my side would be dark, and you go around, it gets brighter, and it's bright, and it was really neat. But
Very
I
cool
remember the
experience.
Earth being very beautiful. It's just
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
Like to see.
And so obviously you've got this like amazing experience happening. You've got this amazing being who's now part of your life. Is she still a part of your life even today?
I mostly see now. It's mostly psychic
Right.
communications. Like once in a while she'll pop up in my dreams. Let me know
Right.
she's still around.
Right.
I found with Angie, I didn't know right away, but I found out later on I wasn't the only. She's seen other kids as well. And I learned in life, if you're seeing Angie, you need to see her. You need to help.
You
You're
need to have
going
her
through a rough
experience.
time. Yeah, you're
Mm.
going through a rough time.
The chances are, yeah, they're sort of the peacekeepers giving you that hope because you've been through this trauma.
Yeah.
So, would she show up maybe after, like, did you time it? Was she showing up more after you've had your other
Yes,
contact experiences?
I've seen her during my childhood. I've seen her quite a bit. She'll come quite frequently, and she'll come, and I can tell, and you just know, it's like the Grays, and even Angie, you can tell when they're coming. I'd be lying there, wake up, I'll wait for her to come, and
Right.
she would come, and we'd go out, and I remember one night, like, I'm so excited, right? There's something I didn't notice right away. One night before she took me inside her ship. She goes, Lisa, look down. She's looked down at my ship. And I did. Like I said, it's like a mirror. I can see the reflection of the moon and the stars, and even the clouds on her ship. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, no kidding.
that's so well.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you got some good memories out of that because honestly, like just in 1 year, you've been dealing with these 2 races that have literally traumatized you. Um, because usually that, when you're that little, if it's not military related, experiences tend to be much better.
Yeah.
The whole Men in Black thing is what throws me off. Why would the Men in Black have to come and escort a 3.5 to 4-year-old?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know, like, who they're working for, who they're with. Like, I'm aware of, like, you had Milo happen before that,
yeah,
Ultra, this horrible stuff going on.
yeah.
And so
Mhm.
I do believe they're working together. The government and ETs, I do believe. I mean, just
With
like
some
us, you
races,
have the good and you have the bad, just like us.
like people, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I agree with you on that. There's a lot of that out there. Um, it's unfortunate, and with my lab, they'll usually chip their people. I don't think ET actually needs to do that. They know perfectly well how and where to find you.
Yeah,
Have,
like I heard the chipping is rare. That's what I heard people saying. Like,
have you found any? Have you had any indication that perhaps you've?
no,
Okay, that's
like
interesting.
they like going into my joints. They like doing that. Matter of fact, my elbows are still sore. Kill me
Right.
that. Last time they done that.
Wow. Wow.
Um,
So as you get older now, who are the races that are most primary in your life, or who are you having more encounters with? And what is that like? Does it change as you get older?
well, it was pretty well the same.
Wow.
But I haven't really taught much, but I had some crazy experiences ever since I sent my book out to my publisher.
Okay. Let's
Just-
talk about that. And let's
Oh,
promote the book too. Yeah.
oh, I been followed by mysterious black cars. I had encounters with a helicopter. When people say they fly low, they mean just exactly like that. I had this, my husband seen it, my oldest son seen it. First time I remember it happening. It was so low. I thought it was going to land on our house. And it was taking us good old time. It was this thing to hovering over our house. It done that 3 times. It
Since
was
your book
dark,
has been
it
released.
had markings on it. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Wow. Wow. It's so strange to think that it's happening in Canada. I have friends in the US who this is happening to. Um, you hear about it a little bit more. Everything you're telling me here in Canada, I'm just sort of like, we have that shit here in Canada. It's just like,
Oh yeah, they're
wow,
here. Um,
wow, yeah,
the cars they have, they're not really big car. I wouldn't say small, I say medium, like big. Maybe some people describe them as being small. I should draw
right.
a picture and send it out.
Nondescript, basically.
I remember, when someone has tinted windows, you can
Yeah,
see a figure of them. These
yeah,
cars, you can't. Their windows are so dark. It's like looking inside a car. I mean, they're so close to me. It was a bright sunny day. I could not see any shadow of anyone in that car. They're that tinted. I couldn't see.
right.
And they follow me. There's 4 of them at one time, follow me at once. And it was nerve-wracking. They're so close to the curb, the sidewalk. I just could have stepped out to the side and tapped their window. And every time, I didn't get this part in my book, but when I had a couple crosses, crossing the street, and every time I crossed the street, they would swerve in as close to me as they could. First time I'd done that, I thought they were going to hit me. I said,
Hmm.
what's this about? If I sped up, like I can walk fast. If I picked up speed, they would keep up with me. If I slowed right down, they would keep up with me.
They wanted you to basically know that you're not alone and you're being watched, essentially.
Yeah.
As from what you're saying, this is what it feels like, intentional. Like they want you to know that they're very present.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Right. But at this point, like before the book, it's not like you had a lot of recollections. The book came after hypnosis, right? Like,
Actually, I was writing my book before I met Leslie,
okay, so you had memories.
and everything in my book is without hypnosis.
Wow.
Lizzie, I didn't know at the time when I first seen Lizzie, right? She started talking. She
She's
goes,
great, isn't she?
yeah, she says, Lisa, she says, when you come in here, you tell me exact same stuff when I put you under. And she goes, you're unusual. And I thought, what she mean? I didn't know much about this stuff. And she
Right.
goes, just that, she says, mostly people, they usually don't remember things until after hypnosis. Like, I go, really? Yeah, she says, some people are like that, and you're one of them. Yeah,
So
I
you're
know
pretty
that.
conscious of it.
And it's like, why do I remember? I find that interesting. Like how I
Yeah.
remember all that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, on the show, there's been a lot of experiencers who've been on the show, like fantastic stories. You're probably one of the first who, goes through the step-by-step details of everything. Like you have a very good recollection. It's beyond just, general information. Some people are like, oh yeah, I can do this, I do this, I saw this, or I could see that. But you're almost like I turned to the right. I remember turning to the left and seeing this, or like it's very, very specific with your memories. I'm wondering if that's what she meant, like you're very detailed driven
Yeah.
and very accurate in your descriptions,
Mhm.
So that's interesting to me because so many people are barely allowed. Hey, Justin. Hey, Dolly, Trish, Michael, Doreen, Melissa. Sorry, I'm just Tamara trying to catch up to the pile. So thank you all for being here. Where was I going with that? I totally got sidetracked. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Um, as you go along with these memories, like some people where I was going with it, they're not allowed to remember anything. It's like your
Yeah.
memory is just wiped. Yet you have recollection going back, to 3.5 years of age. Have they always let you remember? Did you have, aside from missing time, did you have any gaps in there at all in your memory? Or has it all been pretty much intact?
And pretty much intact. There probably, I have no doubts that there's probably stuff I don't remember. There probably is.
Right. Right.
Right now, it just seems like a lot of them are pretty well intact. Especially Angie,
Yeah.
I don't think she wanted me to forget anything. To be
Right. Right. Yeah, but those are good memories. And it sounds like, an ET memory. It doesn't sound so much like just a MyLab memory, because usually those are the ones that want to wipe you clean.
Yeah, but for some reason, no, I never knew that time, honestly, because I wasn't really into it. Like I couldn't really read that much books about this stuff. It just,
Hmm.
um,
My, well, I don't think I would blame you for wanting to forget. It's funny because when you look at, you're talking about being followed, you'd think that just, like I don't remember, but the presence will be one to make you remember and reflect.
mhm,
Out of sight, out of mind, I guess is the point I'm trying to make. If they're not present in your life, then you're just not giving it another thought. But the fact that they're very present in your life, of course, you're going to think about it,
yeah.
right? So, what prompted you to write the book? You're just like, well, I'm not really into it, so why come in and write a book?
My mom.
Uh oh,
I
mom,
I mentioned that in my book as
mom.
well. My mom, like
Yes,
she knew about something was going on with me ever since I was living in Winnipeg. I've had a pretty horrid. That was
right.
a nasty one, but it was a while ago. It was some years back, and on time I was telling my mom about all this stuff. She goes, Lisa, she says, why don't you put it in the journal, like write it down? I said, okay, I can do that.
Mhm.
2 months later, I told her how I've been writing stuff in my journal. And she goes, how about having it published as a book? I'm like, oh man, she's serious. I thought. I said, I don't know myself. I'll think that over.
Right.
I said, do I really want to do this?
Yeah. But do you find it was therapeutic in a way, maybe? And maybe that other people can learn from your experiences. So it's sort of, in a way, paying it forward by just, look, if even one person recognizes what I've been through, maybe they can explore their own journey that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's out now. like 5 months now. I've been out since November 28th.
Right. And how has it been received?
Oh, it made it into the UFOs top 100 Amazon 4 times. So
Wow.
that's why I thought,
It's being received.
I was not
Yeah.
expecting that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing too, like I think another thing too, like I've been a follower of Linda Howe, and they knew that I was writing.
How, yeah, she's fantastic, isn't
I
she?
spoke to her about my book, so
Yeah.
everybody on her site pretty well knows who I am. Then on Faded Black, there's a lot of people. I find even doing that, even like just if you're following other people, just mention it to them, and that
Mhm.
helps. I've been on UFO Man twice.
Right.
I've been on Midnight Society once, not that long ago. It was March.
Right.
And Ryan Stacy, I've been on his show like 2 months.
Ryan's good. He's been on the show. I've known him for a little bit. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yes, this is my 5th interview. It's my
Wow.
3rd one I did
Well,
since my book came out.
I can assure you, you've got millions of people listening to the
I know,
show.
Lizzie told me that, and I thought, oh wow, I can do this.
I can. It's pretty laid back, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty laid back. We try to keep it very comfortable. I usually don't tell many people until after the show how many people are actually listening when all the numbers come rolling in off all the servers. But, it definitely being received, shall we say. So let's back up a little bit. So you had all these experiences in Cambridge, and I have a very good friend in Cambridge who's in chat right now, probably going, it's like, what? So settle down, Mel, settle down. But at some point, you moved. You went to Winnipeg. Did
Yeah.
everything continue in Winnipeg? What was your time like there?
Oh, before Winnipeg, I went from Cambridge. I did quite a bit of moving because I'm married. My husband used to be a soldier, so
Right, there we go. There we are.
yeah,
Right. You're moving around.
and
Yeah.
when I was, I think, probably 8, 9 years old, we moved from Cambridge to St. John, New Brunswick. So
Okay, yeah, you're way the other side now.
lived there for a while. Of course, they followed me,
Of
and
course, it's an active area.
yes,
Yes, right. Okay.
Queen, all of them came. The Berries and the Black, all of them followed me, and I thought, okay, like, and then my first day of school there, I walked down the school by myself. I met this girl. At first, I was ignoring her, but she kept talking to me. I started talking to her, and today we're still friends.
Oh, very nice.
She believes my story very well. Yeah,
Right.
she does. So I'm very lucky. Very lucky. So I guess some people aren't, and because my parents are right for me, my husband, he's right for me, my 2 sons, my friends,
Mm.
and other family, they're just, yeah.
Yeah. I have a question for you before we continue on. If you
Yeah.
don't-
Okay.
Sherry also in your boat, pretty much. We have quite a few who've chiming in. She's also been on the show before. She says, "Do you ever remember looking out a window with them and perhaps them suggesting where you should live? Did they try to guide your life as to where they felt you should be? Especially
Um,
Angie, because she's,
um,
she's
not really. Like in childhood, my parents basically just got what they wanted to.
right,
My husband, and then my husband being in the military, we just went to whatever he had to go.
right.
But I always had fond memories of Ontario, like different things you can do. Because I moved to St. John, New Brunswick. It was terrible. There's just nothing there. Like,
Yeah.
used to go to the Bird Kingdom and all this other stuff, safari, and you just didn't have St. John was boring.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. I have friends out there.
That
It's like, yeah, so I'm gonna go back to where I came from
in my
almost.
book, I have that in my book.
Yeah,
Pretty
right, right.
slow. I hated it.
Yeah,
So right now, that's why I'm in Windsor, Ontario, because I was hoping to get into Cambridge, but oh man, the housing down there is terrible. So
right.
for living here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely comparing apples to oranges for sure. It's a
Yeah.
much calmer lifestyle, but apparently not for you because they just followed you
No.
around. So
No.
from New Brunswick, you end up somewhere. You end up in Manitoba,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Manitoba. To top it off, my mom said, she goes, Lisa, she says, you're handy at Air Force Base. Even though my husband's in the Army, he still worked in Air Force Base because he's supply tech. And
right.
he's one that handles, does orders that need this and that, and whatever.
Yeah.
And one time, like he went away quite a bit, sometimes 6 months.
Oh,
He'd go away and I'd be there by myself, my two sons.
yeah.
And
That's tough.
and one time he was getting ready to go away. I don't remember because I can't remember where he was going. He'd been so many places. But before he left, I would wake up in the morning
Mm.
and he knew I had these weird markings, like a bruise, like something sharp. You can see like something sharp broke into my skin.
Mm.
And he was concerned. The
Yeah.
legs, arms. And he thought, how are you getting those? I go, what do I say? Like he
Yeah.
didn't know at this time. He didn't know till later.
That's a hard one.
I
That's
didn't
a
want to
hard
scare him
one.
because he's gone away. And I think it's overseas. And it happened a few times. And he was really concerned about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so not too long after he goes over there, he gives me a call. And I tell him how I'm still getting these marks on me, which is a big mistake. So he got really worried. He goes, Lisa, how are you getting those?
Yeah.
It's obvious something struck me there.
Yeah. And it's hard for him because as your husband, he's also, like as a soldier, as a man, he's just like, no, it's my job to protect you.
Yeah.
So that's got to be very frustrating for him, especially considering he's got to be away and you're there by yourself. So how did you break it to him and how did he react to all this?
Well, he was really concerned. He didn't want to talk about it too much because he's on the phone, right? And other people hear him.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
So, it's mostly private, like on the mail on the computer. So
Yeah.
one morning I woke up,
Mm-hmm.
I'm lying on my back in bed there, and I go, what is that? I can feel like a weird burning sensation on my knee, on my right knee.
Right.
So I went to scratch it and get rid of it. And when I'd done that, I almost yelled. It felt, no lie, it felt my flesh was coming off my knee. And I thought, what is going on here? And
Yeah.
I sat up. I pulled down the sheets. I brought my knees up, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My whole knee, actually, it was both of them. Later on, not too long ago, and both of them were like that. My two knees were black as night, and the skin was raised a bit like they'd been burnt by something. And I had an incision right in the middle of that.
Wow.
And I thought, what is going on here?
Did you think at any point like maybe I should go and have this looked at like by the doctor and see what they think? Or were you leery about it because you just didn't want anybody asking questions or like what was going through your mind? I'd be like,
I'm going to get
hell no.
I'm going to get there soon. Reason why, but
Right.
I wanted to, but
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, what do I do here? And my poor son came in. He didn't hear me, like like I was in there moaning about something. He knew, and he came in my room and he saw what's on my knees and the look of shock on his face. He's only young, maybe kindergarten grade 1 at the time, and my youngest one was just a young fella. Was even walking, and he was shocked by it. And I got up, and oh man, I had pain from head to toe. right into my bone. I start feeling nauseated. So I ran to the wash. I made a mistake of going down on my knees because, oh man, the burns just hurt. Oh, I just felt sick. Really. So after being there for a while, I got up. I noticed I didn't only have something on my knees. I had it right here on both arms, like a raised burn mark, something like on my skin. And
With
I had these huge oval shaped bruises on the upper inside of my leg, on each side, the same spot. Every time I had these markings on the same spot. And I had 3 dots, like right up high on my upper leg on the inside, like 3 little black circles there.
mm-hmm.
And it horrified me. I go, what's going on here? I felt so hot. I never felt so dehydrated in my life.
Right.
The reason why I mentioned my book, I didn't say too much because it's a little bit personal, but the last time I had a physical thing from my experiences, the Army found out and it didn't go very well.
Wow.
It's in my book. It's kind of personal. I didn't get right into it. I told Lizzie her mouth hit the floor. She was shocked. She goes, Lisa, that's illegal. And since my husband's away, it can really put a stump on your marriage, believe me. Since he was away, I said, if I go into the hospital, they're going to contact my husband, the Army.
Yeah.
And they'll contact my husband, and the Army's going to want to know why I'm in a hospital. And
yeah,
people are convinced, even Leslie convinced like Ryan, they're convinced I had radiation poisoning.
Wow. That's pretty major.
And my husband's away, and I remember what happened was in Oromocto. I was in Oromocto from moved to Winnipeg, and what happened there didn't go so well. They even sent over, I don't know, she's supposed to, like, or Mukto, like, they even sent over this nurse, right? And she basically told me not to tell anybody what happened.
Right. Right. So,
But you know me, I'm the opposite. As soon as you tell me not to say something,
I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
her husband's like, oh,
Yeah.
just flipping out.
Right.
But it's wrong. Like, I understand my husband being afraid not wanting to say anything, but it's just so wrong.
It is. I agree with you.
It's illegal. There's nobody can tell me. It's just wrong.
I agree with you 100%. I'm the last person you need to convince of that. I definitely sympathize with your case.
I don't care who you are. You don't belong.
Sherry's asking if you ever had red rings that look like raised blood blisters, like donuts, some of them smaller, about the size of a
I did
dime.
have like rings, yes, that looks like donuts. I had some that looks like a flower, or some is really weird. Like there's a ring, and it looks like someone took like the ring's not a full ring, like it's, you know what I mean? It's just separated a little bit. Then I have like a little thing in the middle, and I had like dots going across. I had all kinds of weird bruises and stuff like that. I had all kinds.
Right. We're going to hold that thought before we continue, as you know, because you've been in chat station ID time. Folks. Hi, Dave. Sorry, I just want to acknowledge. Thank you for joining us in chat. So you guys are listening to the Thursday night segment of The Outer Realm with our special guest, Lisa Savoy, who is giving us really heartfelt accounts, step-by-step accounts of her experiences with different extraterrestrial races, from the time she's very little. So this is very, very detailed and very personal. So we really want to thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. I know it doesn't sound like it's very easy, and I'm really thinking there's a lot of people out there listening who may have experienced the same thing as you, and maybe now they can say, "Wait a minute, I've experienced this, and I need to know more." So thank you for that, and thank you for everybody tuning into chat. Please know that we are here on the United Public Radio Network 105.3 FM from the beautiful city of New Orleans, fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee, who make this all possible each and every week. Big thank you to our other sponsor, Dr. Snick, Justin Snicker, for our intro and our outro. So thank you to both of you, and thank you to everyone in chat and everybody tuning in around the world. So thank you all. So back to our special guest, Lisa.
Yeah, and another thing too, before I go, I'm gonna say it now, so I don't, because I want to say you from Anna. We were talking about it afterwards. I forgot to say it.
That's okay.
It's not important, but not that long ago, quite recently, my mom, she lives in a 6-story apartment.
Right.
And one night I was talking to her on the phone.
Right.
We're talking away. All of a sudden I hear this really loud, weird noise. I don't hear my mom. And they're going, Mom, where are you? I had a speakerphone on, so you can hear it very well. I go, Mom, I thought something happened, because last year they actually had the apartment beside her actually had their roof blown off due to a windstorm. So, and she almost had close accidents in her parking spot. Right? I thought something happened,
Yeah.
And she started talking to me. Her voice was shaky. I go, Mom, what was that? She goes, Lisa, she's not going to believe this. This been going on for a while now. There's this huge, dark, unmarked helicopter flying her level. Like, she had her side doors open, and she went outside. She went right window level of this helicopter. Like, it was so low, right at her level. It was like she's on the 5th floor.
Right.
And her hair was just blowing back. Her curtains were blown back. She was terrified. She goes, Lisa, this has been going on too long. She's too much. She said, I've been having this helicopter. They will come down that low.
Mm.
A dark one, unmarked black chopper. And
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God.
That's frightening. That's frightening.
Still sees it once in a while go over home.
Yeah. So basically, she's in the same boat as you are, which is going to lead me to my next question. So, she's experienced it. Chances are someone, her mother or father, may have experienced it, brothers, sisters, that sort of thing. You've experienced it. The sensitive question, because, I'm a parent as well. Do you think, have your children experienced anything?
They have. I didn't put it in my book. I just didn't want, I said that if my book becomes bigger, you don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get involved, and
of course.
one didn't want involved. But
No, for sure.
When I had those experiences, and they actually happened a few times, the burns and that. And every time I had one of those experiences, I wake up in the morning. Well, the son would say, Mom, I see a man wearing the black suit, the tie and that. Go in your room. I didn't say anything to him right because he was terrified of it was. I mean, he was in tears. The teachers wanted to know why he was sad. And so early summer, he's still in school. And
how does that make you feel, like thinking about what you've been through?
Poor thing, I didn't want to do it, but I didn't want to fight. I said, Jordy, you're just dreaming.
Right.
And I felt bad because, no, Mom, I'm wide awake. And he started crying more, but I didn't want to scare him.
No, of course not.
Terrified.
Of
because he
course not.
wasn't there.
No, 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 no.
He
Of
would
course
cry,
not.
Mom, he'd go cry every morning. Mom, tell Dad to come home. Mom, tell Dad to come home.
Hmm.
He won't
So,
come home.
so your husband now, I mean, he obviously, you guys have moved and he's obviously he's very supportive. How was it like for him just dealing with all this? Like when this started coming to light and, especially as a soldier, because you're very level, you have one way of thinking and it's always about being one step ahead, being aware of everything. I'm the protector. I'm the warrior, like the whole 9 yards. Like to think that there's something going on that you have no control over. How was that for him?
He didn't really find out till after 3 years after we moved here.
Okay. Okay.
So what happened was he was aware of something strange going on with me. So when he found out, he accepted it right away.
Well,
And I got in touch with Lufon's ERT. Did her survey and I heard back from them. And that's how I, you know, started for Ryan Stacy. And
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
seen the email.
Yeah.
He didn't
He's
say
he's
anything
awesome.
right away.
He's the guy you would want.
Yeah.
He is.
like
We love Ryan. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
saw the mail and he goes, I told him, right? He goes, oh, I knew he's going to see it eventually because he's downstairs on the computer. Of course he's going to see it.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I know. He says, I've seen it on the computer. And he asked me how I was doing. I said, I have people that can help me. And he's the one that told me about Leslie.
Yes.
And I still talk to her today. Besides regressions, maybe we talk about other things,
Yeah.
we'll talk.
Yeah. They're both great people to have in your court going
Yes.
through this. They really are. They're both delightful.
And I talked to some, like I said, I'm on your show. Thank you very much for having me on your show. Like I said, I meet these wonderful people. It's so nice to have people that
Yeah.
don't laugh at you or think you're nuts. No.
Yeah. No, you were in good company because people who are listening are people who are interested.
Mhm.
Otherwise they wouldn't be tuning in, right? So
Oh, yeah.
for sure. So well, like I said, it's got to be somewhat therapeutic, and obviously you have the support. So somewhere along the line, your husband and your family have gone like, okay, we're here now. I'm aware of this now. Where do you go from that? How do you recover from something like that?
I asked myself the same question.
Yeah.
As a child, I believe Angie has a lot to do with it because later on, when she was taking me in these adventures, like she took her ship and go underwater.
Yes.
It's just like it's nothing. It's like going to air.
Mm-hmm.
She took me somewhere outside our solar system to a hangar,
Right.
and where they actually let me put one of those triangle ships together. That's fascinating. I
Mm-hmm.
drew a bunch of pictures in my book, and I did the construction of a spaceship as well, so people know what I'm talking about. Because
Right.
you don't know what it was. So I
No, it's
drew those
true.
pictures for that,
Yeah.
just so they can understand.
Right.
And there's a Nordic girl. I never her being a year older than me. I made friends with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's another Nordic there. I called him Angie, Angie's boss. He came to
Yeah.
me that way. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have all kinds of stuff in there all about that. So I can sit here just 2 hours alone talk about
Yeah.
Angela.
No,
Yeah,
please do.
I named
Yeah.
her Angela, but I called her Angie for short because I know
Yeah.
a couple
No.
girls know their Angela. We just like calling her Angie, so that's why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
First called her Angel because I thought she was an angel.
Oh,
Found out one night she gave me a hug before she left. I go, she's breathing. she's made of flesh. She's not an angel, But
yeah.
yeah, but
Do you think perhaps, like I know you have a certain point where you feel she came into your life. Is it possible that she came into your life much younger and you don't have a recollection? Because sometimes with military abductions, it's because they want to see maybe or get evidence of what if you had contact with an extraterrestrial, for example, they would want to take samples to see like what was the oxygen like, maybe in this craft, or what, different recollections working with you. Like I often hear that. And my producer who owns iCar, which is the largest abductee contactee site literally on the planet, with over 60 or 70,000 accounts of people who've come forward with their experiences that are documented. And some of them have said that where it starts out as a really nice, extraterrestrial experience ends up all of a sudden with military, because they're like, no, we want to like figure out what you may have been experiencing there, so that, they'll go ahead.
Like I noticed ever since, especially now my book's out, so my experience has been terrible.
Right.
I mean, I remember most of my life, I wake up, I feel presence, I see the grays come in, time reptilian. Now it's the Men in Black. I've been seeing way too much of them lately. And
Right.
it's not a good feeling.
Do you think you're being punished?
I've been threatened. Yeah.
Wow.
But, I don't know. It's just that's what's been going on ever since my book came out.
Mm-hmm. Do you
So,
feel that it's amped up?
hmm?
Do you feel that is amplified, amped up since the book has been released?
Yeah.
Right. Have
Well, I
they?
just keep going. I keep living. I
Yeah.
have no choice. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people died because they couldn't handle it. You have no choice but to live.
Right.
You have no other choice.
Yeah. She talked about this at the beginning of the show. The Men in Black, you felt there were both, right? And he's asking real humans, holograms, AI, ET.
My experience, I wouldn't. No, they're not. As far as I know, they are humans.
Right.
That's how I see them. I wouldn't say they're holograms. No, mine are very physical. They're not. I know what he means though, because some people said they have seen it.
Yeah. Right.
Mine are very real. I mean, like like my mom one time. It was just before the pandemic. I went to visit my mom one summer.
Right.
I was at a place for 3 weeks, and one time I was in bed. I was up for a while, and I can feel presence.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh no, not here, not here." And I was lying there, and I was looking out in bed there. I was looking out in the hall there, and I noticed her hall was getting darker, like a white wall in her hall there. Right, it was to the point it was disappearing. So I turned around, I faced my back to him. I just lay there, braced myself. Okay, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Then I hear one of my parents up. I said, "Oh no."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Please, no, no, let nothing happen." Yeah, I heard him go to the washroom and come back out again.
Mm.
First, I thought it was my dad's walker because it seemed staggered somehow.
Yeah.
And I was terrified. Something's going to happen to my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up in the morning. I told my mom what happened. She says, it was my mom was up. She said, well, she had to go to the bathroom. And it's like, why is it so dark in here? Why is the hall so dark?
Mm-hmm.
When she got up, she couldn't walk straight. Like her energy didn't feel right. She was actually wobbling too, and she couldn't figure out why.
Mm.
So when she come out of the washroom, like her room was right beside the room where I was sleeping. As she came out of the washroom, she could still feel the presence. The hall was still dark. There was some light coming from her room from the window there. And before she went in her room, she saw one of them, a short, dark figure going into my room.
Wow. So
Like
she knew.
I always told my mom, if anything happens, like they would visit us mostly during the summer. I said, if you ever see anything, please don't go near it. I mean, she said she's feeling wobbly. She knew she
Right.
didn't want to. She wanted to go in there and do something, but she didn't. She knew if she did things, she would have went down on her face easily. That's
Yeah,
how that's how they defend themselves. That's what they do.
yeah, there's just, you can't do everything. I mean, as parents, I think we just go down fighting no matter what.
Yeah.
Um, that's really difficult. That's a difficult situation to be in for her, for you. Has your husband ever had any experiences such as this?
I remember, like, sometimes he'll say he'll wake up and he'll see small dark figures moving around her bed.
Right.
And at one time he thought they were sons, but as her sons got older, they're getting taller, and he still would see this. And he's like, what the heck?
Those aren't ours.
No.
Yeah.
And other times he'll wake up, I'm not there. He thinks I'm in the bathroom, doesn't hear anything. He'll wait and wait. I'm not showing up. He goes
Hmm.
to sleep. And he always done that when I was taken.
Right.
He would say that.
Right. Does he ever feel maybe that he's been taken? Because I mean, I can tell you, I have military friends, and some who have been on the show, several, and they pretty much say, yeah, you know what? I'm pretty much thinking this has been a thing.
I think he could be, is that he doesn't talk about things like
Right.
anything.
Logical guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Right.
doesn't like talking about that.
No, no, I can see that. Yeah. So, where do you go from here? I mean, this is something that continues to happen, obviously. Where do you go from here? Do you continue on with writing about your
Yes.
experiences? Do you try to, get help with people, continuing
Well,
with Leslie Orion? Or is there a light at the end of the tunnel? I guess is what I'm asking.
yeah, like I still talk with Ryan and Leslie. I don't know if you've heard of Terry Lovelace. Uh,
Yeah, he's been on the show. I love
yeah,
Terry.
okay. I'm
I do.
actually keep in touch with him.
Yeah, they're great people. Great
Him and I
people.
were talking ever since I was still writing my journal. He helped me a lot,
Yeah.
and with writing that and my experiences, and we talk about other things as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he helped a lot too.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person.
Yes, he is. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the best way to cope and to learn is from people who've been through it,
yeah.
because you're not. Oh, Trish says, "Look up Jerry Sargent." Write
Jerry's
that down. Yeah.
okay.
Yep. So,
Okay,
definitely
I'll
there.
do that. I'm not sure who he is, but I guess I'll find out.
We'll find out. Trish is, kind of in, uh, let's just say she can relate to what you're going through. So
Okay.
if you wanna write it down, do you want me to just leave it up for you there?
Oh, I'll remember Jerry Sargent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So, yeah, I mean, you learn from people who have been through it, and you see what maybe solutions they have to offer,
mhm. Yeah. And
right?
some of his experiences are similar to mine.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
You can't share everything, you can't. I mean, there's some things that are personal.
Yeah.
There are some things that are yours and yours alone.
Yeah.
Um, and you find a way to cope. Some people believe that, going public, um, allows you a little bit more freedom.
Yes.
It's like, they just sort of take a little bit of a step back. I've had contactees say that, you
Mhm.
know, just put it all out there, because then it's all out there, and it's not like, you're just going to necessarily, I mean, get worse. I've heard some people say, no, it can't just disappear if the whole world knows, but then some people, think the opposite and they go very quiet. So I think it depends on which stage you're at with everything.
Yeah, like I find it's like everything else, holding it in is not always a good idea. Because at one time I thought to myself, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just going to hold it to myself, till I'm no longer living. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not that easy. Like
Right.
my husband knew there's something going on.
Right.
My oldest son knew. I told him what's happening with me. And why am I waking up these things on me? Why is this going on? That they had to know.
Mm-hmm.
And holding it is not healthy, no matter what it is. Like because the PTSD is a demon. It is. It's not good.
Right.
Anxiety is not. It's not healthy. It can affect
Right.
your health. Like since my childhood, I just at times I wasn't eating. I even recently, like even today, like sometimes I'll just lose a lot of weight. Stress
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah. Of course.
I wasn't sleeping good. There's at times I can stay up. I can only have 2 or 3 hours of sleep in a couple of months every night. I have done that.
Wow.
People say, how you do that? You're tired, you're exhausted, you don't feel good, you don't feel like yourself. You just can't live that way.
No.
It's horrible.
Do you find, did the experiences lessen before you wrote the book, or has it been pretty much even keel, only now you're getting it, maybe a touch more?
Fine till I sent the book out to my publisher, and after it came out, it's just like, this is ridiculous. Even my mom had experiences, and she believes her in Men in Black as well. She'd go to sleep, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She told me things, and she told me she has met the Reptilians as well.
Wow.
And she
Wow.
remembers about the Greys. Yeah, she told me. My mom's actually talking more about it now because of me.
Right. Which is, it's good because it's therapeutic for her also.
I can't see her, like Leslie tried to get my mom to talk with her. It didn't work out.
Right. No,
I
yeah.
said, no, she's not.
But I think it's the generation too. There's just some things you didn't talk about. It's like the family secret,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
heck, even if you were just a psychic, no, we can't talk about those things. Like, I think it is just the generation. I think, our generation after that became a little bit more
Yeah.
open-minded, and we would speak about things a little more freely. We're more accepting of it. I think if you've come forward in a time where it is more accepting, because you do have the internet and television, and
Yes.
there are programs out about it. There are people who talk about it. You've made fantastic connection. Linda Moulton Howe is just second to none, on so many levels. Terry's just a gem. That's all I have to say.
Yes.
He's just a gem. Ryan's a gem. I do consider Ryan a friend. He's just wonderful. Not that far from me either, which is fantastic. And Leslie's just like awesome. What more can you say about Leslie
Yes.
aside from awesomeness, right? So I think she's coming back on the show too,
Oh,
actually. So,
yeah.
she is coming back. So you have an amazing support system. Your family supports you. My wish for you is that I hope things calm down for you a little bit. You're young. You've got a lot of time left. I don't want to see this for you moving forward.
No.
But I think if you stay surrounded, especially with these high profile people, because, Linda doesn't make any bones about anything. She just throws it right out there. And this is a thing, and this is what it is, and this is going on. And definitely somebody that you want in your court.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
It's really great to talk to too.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. I'd love to have her on. She's just so
Yeah.
versed. you
No,
know?
no, maybe you keep sending her an email telling them who you are and that she just might show up.
Oh, she might. You never know.
Give you her email, but oh,
Yeah.
she does
Unfor
a lot of stuff like that, though. She's appeared on
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I'd have to make the poor woman wait till the fall. It's just
Yeah.
crazy, the
Yeah.
amount of people we have on. So tell everybody where to find your book because as we near the top of the hour, I want to make sure we get that book promoted.
Yes, okay. It's available on Amazon worldwide,
Right.
and it's available in paperback and Kindle. And the title is Living in Two Worlds, a true account of alien encounters.
Wow. Okay. So living in two worlds. I want to write that down too so we can.
It's only 111 pages, but believe me, there's a lot in there. There's a lot.
Okay.
I can talk like 2 hours more about the whole thing.
Yeah, I know. No, it gets to be really tough because you sort of, we sort of um, move around a little bit. So before we sign off, to anybody who may be experiencing this and who may not be sure or who might be quiet about it, what is your advice to them?
Oh, I actually put that in my journal as well. Like at first I say, hang on. Don't give up hope. Don't let yourself go down in the pit of despair because it's hard to get out if you can. There's people out there that will believe you. Like there's a lot of support groups out there. Just a matter of finding which one's better for you.
Hmm.
And and if you have any favorite shows, like I follow people on YouTube. If you ever manage to connect with whoever does the show, they're
Yeah.
very supportive that way. And there's some people the chat, they get some, usually some are good. There's trolls, but do not let them get you. It's not easy.
Hmm.
I mean, at least you can try writing it down because it's very therapeutic and cathartic, and
Hmm.
that helps to just write it down.
Hmm.
And if you can find, there's a lot of groups out there. Like you have Ryan Stacy Tissa, you have
Yeah. Yeah.
he's a help.
Absolutely.
Terry Lovelace, I found him on YouTube, not
Hmm.
YouTube, excuse me, Facebook. Like first, I
Yeah.
have both of his books,
I
and
can connect with all these people. Just
oh yeah,
if I can't
I
find
have
them,
both of
just message me. I can
yeah,
connect you all up.
yeah. Oh yeah, and I find Terry Lovelace is very helpful too. He is.
He's been through a good round, let me tell you.
He's Toby. He didn't make it.
Yeah,
So, you couldn't
yeah,
handle it.
yeah.
Back
It's
then, you didn't have people, but you have it today. You do have people that will listen.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've got the world at your fingertips, literally, right now. You're in the right age to do it. You're in the age of telecommunications and internet and television, to the point where people are also very open as well. We didn't have this when you were little. You couldn't just go in and be informed. You'd go to the library, and you weren't going to find any of this stuff. Chances are, in a local library. You know, especially up this neck of the woods, like out in Canada, it's very limited. So definitely a different world that we live in. But I really want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
It was such a pleasure to meet you. I love seeing you in chat, and it's brave. You're very brave.
Oh yes, it takes a lot. It's not easy. It takes a lot.
No, I know. I
Yeah.
know it isn't. And I'm very grateful and humbled that you would come on and share so much of your story and just expose yourself to this degree, with this information, not just, as part of your journey, but the fact that you are literally, being watched so closely. So thank you, for coming on and sharing all of that with us.
And thank you for having me on here too. And in the future, if you want me, I can come back on again. Like I'm
Absolutely.
still writing some stuff down. And
That's just it. The story continues. So anything to continue, yeah, from this this point on, we definitely are interested in following your journey.
Yes.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Yes.
So, all right. So thank you and have a good night. Have a good weekend.
Yes, you too.
Thank you, darling.
Okay.
See you in chat.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night.
Wow, what a joy she is. Honestly, she's just such a sweetheart. Very, very gentle soul she is, and super brave for coming forward with her story. And of course, that's what we do. You know, all of us shows out there, we share stories, and we wish her well on her journey, and hope that it gets better from this point on. But we have come to another amazing. End of another amazing episode, I have to say. It's just been wow. Very emotional, absolutely. And we thank Lisa for coming on. We thank our sponsors, Folgers Coffee, for just, in my opinion, being, the star of the show and making all of this possible. Big thank you again to Justin Snicker, aka Dr. Snick. And remember to stop by the station's YouTube channels and subscribe. If you like it, definitely subscribe, share it up with your friends. Don't forget about Amelia and I on Facebook. Come on, show us some love. If you're looking to communicate with me or Amelia, or any comments or questions about any of our guests, want to connect with them, or you want to see someone else come on, just email us, theouterrealmcontact@gmail.com. That's theouterrealmcontact@gmail.com. I cannot do social media. I just can't keep up with it. Too many groups, too many messages. Even personally, it's just not humanly possible for me to keep up with all of it. Not enough hours in a day. I apologize. Now, next week, Wednesday evening, we welcome back Jim Giard. And he's been on before. He's a really great guy. We just love him. And he's going to be discussing magic. Remember, we were talking about that last night, and I said that this was starting to come up again. We've got two guests, in May, who are going to be discussing magic and time travel and a whole lot more. So he's just really versed. I just love Jim. He's just fantastic. Thursday evening, you guys are going to be in for one heck of a treat. For the very first time ever, we are bringing on Frank Jacob, and he's going to be discussing his film, The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. He's going to be talking about extraterrestrials. He's just got his hand in everything. He is so versed. It is unbelievable, and he's going to leave a few people going. So, in fact, he's so versed, we're bringing him back on again in July. And I have to check if we have him yet again, because there is just that much information. So until then, you guys all behave yourselves. And don't forget Joe and I on the Gray Zone Uncensored this coming Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. Always a lot of fun with that. And have ourselves a really good weekend. It's supposed to be just beautiful out there. So go out and take advantage of it. And until then, we shall see you next week. Good night.
You have been listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano, airing live every Wednesday and Thursday evening, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 to 10 p.m. Central, on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.